Jaron Ennis is soon to be forced to have to move up to 154 pounds and let his title dreams at 147 go due to being blocked out from being able to face any of the other champions at 147. We're going to talk about what Eddie Hearn had to say about this. We also going to talk about what Eddie Hearn said Turkey Al-Sheikh is looking forward to with Jaron Ennis. We're going to break that down in this video, but before we do, make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook on it. Jaron Ennis, man, fresh off a title defense, his first title defense of that IBF strap. He got at 147 pounds, and we all know how he received that belt. He received that belt because Terrence Crawford decided to move up to 154, and he had to drop the belt. And of course, you know, Boots got the belt. Some people was calling him email champion. I don't call him no email champion because he didn't choose to receive the belt that way. That's just how things played out, you know, with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford going back and forth for years, and Boots was the one on the sideline waiting for a fight. Well, Boots still don't got no big fight, but he did do what he had to do in defending this title against David I've been sneezing. He went out there and put on a spectacular performance, if you ask me. But the question is, what's next for Boots? That's what everybody been asking for the past 4 years for Jaron Ennis. What's next? When is he going to have a real opponent to fight? Well, let me tell y'all, man, Eddie Hearn just did an interview, and shout out to Najee. I believe they did the interview like, you know, the week of the Bud Madrimal fight. That's when they did the interview, but it just came out today. And in that interview, man, Hearn, he got to talking about Jaron Ennis, and he was talking about how, man, it's very difficult to get these fighters to fight Ennis. You know, it's gonna be very difficult to get these fighters to fight him, and the only way that you can get any of these fighters to fight Jaron Ennis is give them a big payday, offer them a big payday. He also went on to talk about how Turkey Al-Sheikh had let it be known that, hey, he wants to see Terrence Crawford versus Boots, but Crawford don't want that fight. Crawford let everybody know he's not interested in the Jaron Ennis fight, even if Jaron Ennis is at 154. So, well, I ain't gonna say even if he is at 154, but Crawford said he's not interested in that fight. Now, Crawford didn't say, well, I'll fight him if he moves up to 154, so I assume that he's just not interested at no weight division. So with that being said, if you look at the landscape at 147 pounds, because Boots has let it be known that his thing is he wants to become undisputed at 147. So if you look at the landscape at 147, you got Stanionis. He is, I believe, the WBA champion at 147, and Stanionis is with the PBC. You got Mario Barrios. He is the WBC champion at 147. Mario Barrios is with the PBC. Then you got Brian Norman, and shout out to my dog Brian Norman. He's the WBO champion at 147, and he's with Top Rank. So all of these fighters are on completely different sides of the streets. And when you look at the names, no disrespect to none of these names because they all solid fighters, but when you look at the names, none of these fighters are big fights, right? They're not big name fighters. None of them are at this point in their career. You know, I believe that Brian Norman, he will be a big name, but he's still very young in his career. And the rest of them, you know, they're not huge names. You know, they're not huge fights to where you can say, okay, well, Turkey wants this fight because Turkey Al-Sheikh, when he spoke to Eddie Hearn, he let Eddie Hearn know that he wants to make the big fights. When he's looking at guys like Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis, he want to make big fights. And with that comes big money. So he's willing to pay the big money if it's for big fights. And when you look at those names, Turkey Al-Sheikh, he don't want none of those names. He don't look at none of those names as big fights for Jaron Ennis. And right now, they're not big fights. So he's been calling out Terrence Bud Crawford, and now he really needs to press on the gas. Let everybody at 154 know that you're coming, because, man, this is just the reality of the situation. You saw what happened to David Benavidez at 168. He had to wait around years and years until he damn near grew out of the weight division, and then he finally was able to get a Caleb Plant fight, and then he got a Demetrius Andrade fight. But other than that, he couldn't get the mega fight at 168, and he eventually had to move up because he grew out of the weight division. Jaron Ennis, you're looking at the same thing. It's nobody that has a big name right now at 147. And Ennis, yes, he does say that he makes 147 pounds pretty easily right now. But, man, that ain't going to go like that for too much longer. Boots, he big, man. He's very big for the weight division, and he's not going to be able to make that weight division for too much longer. Easy. You feel me? So when you look at everything that's going on with Boots, right, it's no fighters that Turkey Al-Sheikh or no other promoter is going to overpay to get Boots in the ring, because Eddie Hearn says, hey, the only way we're going to get any of these fighters in the ring is we're going to have to overpay them, right? And especially you're going to have to overpay them if you're pulling them from another promotional company over there at the PBC. You feel me? So, man, it just ain't going to happen. Boots will be waiting around for the next 3 years if he think he going to become undisputed at 147. It ain't going down. All the big fights are at 154. If you go to 154, then, hey, like I said, Turkey Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn, they work hand in hand. Then they can get you a big fight, because they can pay the big money to get one of these names at 154 to fight you. All the fighters like to say, if the money right, I'm in there. I'll fight anybody if the money right. And the money definitely got to be right when you talk about Boots, because he just too dangerous for anybody to be fighting him, right, that has a name for not a lot of money. That's just how the boxing game is, man. These fighters is looking at the game as business before anything. And especially if you don't have confidence in your ability that you can beat Boots, you're going to want a lot of money for it. So Jaron Boots Ennis, man, it looks like that he's going to be forced to have to move up to 154. It is what it is. I don't want Boots to just waste, this part of his career lingering around, wishing and hoping and praying for a big fight at 147 that ain't there. It ain't coming. And I'm just keeping it real. Now, if you want to wait down the line, maybe 2 years, I think my man Brian Norman will be a big fight. But, I mean, you don't got the time to be waiting. You know what I'm saying? You don't got the time to be waiting for somebody to, get the fights, because he gonna need fights himself and build his name more. And he will do that, but it's gonna take some time. So, man, hey, and Mario Barrios, man, we've seen the best of Mario Barrios. His name is as big as it's gonna be, right? And no disrespect to Mario Barrios, standing on us, good fighter, but not a good name. So, like I said, man, when you look at the surroundings at 147, you just, you wishing and hoping and praying and dreaming, but hey, you got smoke for everybody at 154, and I think it'll be much easier for you to become undisputed at 154 pounds, because like I said, man, they could come with that bag and pay one of these fighters to take that chance to fight you. And then once you get that name fighter, you're going to take off from there. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Do y'all think that Boots should just linger around at 147 and wishing and hoping for a big fight that's not there? Or do y'all think that he should go ahead and move up to 154 pounds? Let me know how y'all feel. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. Tego talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
I know them haters can't stand it. I ain't got a blemish on my Jolly Rancher candy. Ride on, ride, top let down.